Reach for the sky. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go again. 'Cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make a one day, one day, one day. One day, one day, one day. Don't let nothing push you down. Stand with the bow. Yes, we believe in you. Don't you give up on yourself till the world knows who you are. Keep on shining. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go again. 'Cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make a one day, one day, one day. One day you go make a one day, one day, one day. One day you'll be like the sun. Say one day you go shine.
Access, more than banking.
I'm tired of trying. I need help. I want to try IVF. I know it's expensive.
Are you struggling with a health challenge? Do you need financial help to access treatment? If yes,
Apply now for MHSS, the Maternal Health Service Support, a discounted loan by the W initiative of Access Bank with low interest rates, no loan fees, flexible repayment plan. This is your best bet for financing your health needs. For more information, visit our website on www.vwcommunity.com or any Access Bank branch nationwide. You can also send an email to wcares@accessbankplc.com. Terms and conditions apply. The MHSS has successfully financed hundreds of health procedures.
the next one could be yours.
Mama Fauzi at the latest Alaja. This year Haji went on. I'll prepare for a shot because this year we must make plenty money.
Inshallah, this year we'll all make plenty profit.
When your customers miss you, Sha, there is always someone checking on you.
I miss them too. At least it will justify all the charges I keep getting. It's too much walai.
Oh, Mama Fauziat, why do you keep stressing yourself? All you need is the right account for your business. We use the Access Bank's business account.
Tolu is right. I use Access Bank's DBA Classic account. And you see that multi-fixed charge? I love it. No hidden charges. I know how much I spend monthly on my business, which makes it easy to calculate my profit.
And I use the DBA Flex account. It is pay as you transact, and it is even discounted though.
So that means I can choose between Access Bank DBA Flex or DBA Classic depending on my type of business?
Exactly.
You people should be giving me these updates. I'll go to Access Bank tomorrow.
Running a business could be tough, but banking shouldn't be. Banks matter with our Access Bank DBA Classic or DBA Flex account, depending on your business needs. For more information, visit any of our Access Bank branches or send an email to welovesmes@accessbankplc.com. Because at Access Bank, we love SMEs.
Ada, you've been looking at your phone for the last 10 minutes. What's wrong?
I need money to grow my business, but every loan I get seems to have crazy interest rates and difficult repayment plan. I feel stuck.
I'm so sorry. So you mean I've not told you about the W initiative of Access Bank?
Oh, Access Bank. I've heard of them. But what is W initiative?
The W initiative is the home of everything Access Bank has to offer women. They offer monthly webinars, workshops, trainings, and they have a thriving online community. They even offer discounted loans to business women just like yourself.
Is it not like the normal loan we get everywhere?
No, the loan has very friendly terms with discounted interest rates and flexible repayment plans. They give loans to grow your business, to own a home, and to even finance health challenges.
Jane, you must be joking. How do I reach the W community?
I'm serious. Just check them out on social media at the W Community, or you can even visit their website www.thewcommunity.com. They have several opportunities for you.
Oh, my friend, thank you so much.
Now, imagine the impact we can make together if more women had access to these opportunities. We invite you to tell one woman about the W Community, who will tell another woman. Each one, bring one.
A new year ushers in fresh opportunities to dream bigger, reach further, and make impact that truly matters. This year at the W Community, we have a bold vision to position W as the #1 platform where women get inspired, connected, and empowered. To achieve this, we're launching a powerful campaign. Each one, bring one. It is a call to action and a step towards building a stronger, more inclusive network of women across Africa. We have seen real transformation of thousands of women who have taken advantage of the W valuable offerings. From the Women Perennial Pitch-a-thon programs, W loans, to our monthly webinars, the impact is undeniable. We are also breaking barriers by empowering women in male-dominated industries such as driving and mechanics. W is committed to bridging the gaps in finance, education, and technical skills, ensuring that women are leaders in their fields. We cannot achieve this mission alone. We need you to organically grow the W community with us. You have experienced the value of W. Now it's time to pay it forward. Think about the women in your life, your colleagues, sisters, friends, and the women in your local community who need to be empowered. Tell them about W. We're not just talking. We're actively spreading the word about the W community through our roadshows, our newly launched website, and valuable opportunities we offer. Be a part of this movement. Each one, bring one. Because when one woman rises, we all rise.
Wow, it gets better from here. Ladies, I have amazing news for you because it's the Each One Bring One season where we're introducing W to everyone. Our goal is to expand W's reach by ensuring that every woman is aware of the numerous value proposition that W brings to the table. Do you know that every year W gives loans to women for health, business, vehicle financing, and more? Do you also know that every year W holds the Womenpreneur Pitch-a-thon program where female entrepreneurs get mini MBAs and access to grants to fund their business? And that's not all. Every October at W is our health month, Women get free screenings, scans, discounted treatment options, health webinars, and the list goes on and on. If you didn't know, now you know. If you already know, we're inviting you to join the Each One Bring One campaign. Tell a woman about the W initiative today. Follow us on all our social media platforms at the W Community and be part of this movement.
Welcome to another edition of the W webinar series powered by the W initiative of Access Bank, and this time in conjunction with the agribusiness segment of the bank. Our aim as W is to inspire, connect, and empower women, and this is one of the ways by which we do so, bringing you insightful and enlightening conversations such as this. And so it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you and to be your moderator on this session today. My name is Ifeoluwa Omoto. Thank you so much for joining us once again and welcome. Now, for those who are very familiar with our webinars, you'd know that we always love to meet you. So please make sure to introduce yourselves in the chat box. Let us know your name and where you're joining us from. Now, today we have brought you a truly enriching conversation, one that is designed to empower every female agripreneur and agribusiness owner joining us. Right, our team is Beyond Borders, positioning women agripreneurs for global opportunity, and it speaks directly to the future of agriculture, a future where women are not just participants, but they are global competitors, innovators, and trailblazers. So get ready for insights that will open your mind, strengthen your strategies, and equip you with steps confidently in the international market. Now, to start the session with our welcome address, please welcome with me the group head of the women banking team at Access Bank, Nene Kunle Ogunlusi. Good afternoon, Nene, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, Ife. Thank you so much for the warm introduction. Good evening, everyone. It's an exciting session we're going to have here today. We're delighted to have you join us for this very crucial webinar today, which we have brought to you in partnership with Agric Desk of Access Bank and the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. On behalf of the W Initiative of Access Bank, I want to warmly welcome every womanpreneur here, every woman in agribusiness and womanpreneur to this webinar themed Beyond Borders, positioning women agripreneurs for global markets. This theme speaks to the core of what we do at the W Initiative of Access Bank. We inspire, we connect, and then we empower women to thrive in whatever vocation they find themselves. And that is part of what we're doing here today. Now, you would know that in Nigeria earns about $4 billion annually from agric, and agric constitutes about 24% of Nigerians' GDP. However, women, who form 70% of the agric workforce, contribute only 10% to Nigeria's export value. This gap is what we're aiming to close in this meeting. I know in this webinar, and we've seen women in various fields, doing a lot less than what men do. And so what we do is to bring up this knowledge, so women can be empowered with the tools, with the right knowledge, with the skill to scale up and to take their businesses beyond just being local and beyond just contributing as a labor force to the global stage. And we've come here today with experts in the field from the Nigerian Promotion Council. I would encourage every woman here today to bring out your pens, bring out your paper, take notes, ask questions when we get to the question session. It promises to be a very insightful and exciting time here. And the good thing is, after this meeting, we're going to leave it on our YouTube channel. You can go back and watch the video on our YouTube channel. And then if you have any questions, you could always still reach out to us and we will also reach out to our Agric decks. We thank you so much for joining us today. We're delighted to have you here. And most importantly, it is our view, it is our prayer that at the end of this session, you will be equipped with the tools required to scale to the global stage. We want to see more of our women in the global stage doing more. We want to see the figures, the contribution of women to Nigerian export figure increase to 50%, 80%, and 90%, which we believe is very possible. I want to also encourage you all to keep following us on all our social media handles, on X, on Instagram, on Facebook at the W Community, and also on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us today and have a good time. Thank you, Ife. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Nene. That was the group head of the women banking team at Access Bank. Now, like she rightly said, the W initiative is known as the home of everything Access Bank has to offer women. It was created to support women at every stage of their personal and entrepreneurial journey, whether as career professionals or as business owners or even rising innovators, right? Through thoughtfully designed programs, financial solutions, and capacity building support, the W initiative ensures that women have the resources, the knowledge, and the network that they need to thrive. And so we champion growth through trainings, mentorships, market access, and access to finance through our various offerings. So make sure to follow us across our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and X, at the W Community. And also remember to click the subscribe button below this video. Now, to take us further in this conversation is my next speaker, who will introduce the offerings that are available to you as an agribusiness entrepreneur at Access Bank. Please welcome with me from the agribusiness segment, Oluwafunbi Adeleke. Hi, Funbi, can you hear me?
Hi, Fair. Good afternoon.
Great.
Good afternoon.
You have
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Just give me a minute to share my screen so I can speak to it. All right, please confirm. Please confirm you can see my screen from your hand.
Yes, we can see your screen now.
All right. Thank you very much, and welcome everyone to this session. We are delighted to have you here. And on the agribusiness group, just like Ife had mentioned while she was introducing the women initiative, the agribusiness group was actually set up to provide both financial and non-financial support to agribusinesses, both prospective businesses and even existing customers of the bank. The aim is to ensure that beyond banking, we're able to give them all the available or the required need to help them grow from whatever level to whatever to the conglomerate that we desire or they desire for themselves. And the avenue by which we do this include both financial and advisory services. A site loan, like I said earlier, a site loan, we want to ensure that both advisory linkages, market linkages, or whatever other services that agribusiness would need within the country that would help them to grow to the desired stature or the desired position that they will be are there to render all the required support to them. We also conduct capacity building sessions. We organize project monitoring sessions. We visit your farm, see with you, listen with you, go through the business with you and see how the bank can actually come and service each and every one of you. Of course, we understand that the need might be different across the different businesses, and that is why we do on a case-by-case basis ensure that we provide the maximum support for agribusinesses. And to further let you understand that we do not segregate against any segment of the business, we understand even from input provider to farming, agro-processing, exporting, wholesaler, retailers, traders, and all. We support across the entire value chain in Access Bank. So to speak to some of our specific offerings, of course, in the bank, we have a couple of generic offerings. But because we understand the unique processes and the risk dynamics of agribusiness, and we understand it's though said as risky, but then at Access Bank, we understand that it's a managed risk. And that is why we've come up with several solutions that can help. One of them is the National Agricultural Development Fund. This is an on-lending scheme, and it addresses all value chain. So wherever you play, be it farming, processing, logistics, if it's any segment within the agricultural value chain that you play in, this financing is very, very much available for your need. And for this, you can actually get up to a maximum of 2 billion naira. So I expect that a couple of SMEs are on this call. So from as low as 50 million naira to as high as 2 billion naira, you can get for your production purposes, your processing purposes, marketing purposes. And it comes both as working capital and as term loan with a maximum of 4 years. And you can see the interest rate is very low, 17.5%. Now to the other one. So the nation is moving beyond just producing, right? The nation is also moving into aggregation. That's taking aggregating commodities and then supplying either to processors, to exporters, and the likes. We have also designed something very suitable for you. Is a short-term trade finance that allows you to aggregate all of those commodities together and then send or sell to your off-taker, who can be the exporter, who can be the processor, or even you yourself are going to be exporting it. And it's a 12-month facility, depending on the tenure, or on the gestation, on the storage period and the model and contract between you and your off-takers. And the maximum for this is about 500 million naira. We have also given allowance for a mix of collateral structure so as not to overburden our businesses. We want to ensure that we can flow with whatever collateral type and structure that they have within their purview. Then I would like to stop on this SOFS. This is basically for the primary producers. You are into farming, into livestock production, into poultry, fisheries, and the likes, and you are interested, or you currently actually have a backward integration plan, either outgrower method, either in-grower method, whichever the case may be, as long as you have smallholder farmers. So here we want to target not just the big-size SMEs, but we want to even target down to the very small holder farmers in the farm. So if you have a chain of smallholder farmers that you manage, these facilities for you. It's a maximum of 50 million naira for now, but of course, it's in progress of getting renewal. But for now, it's a maximum of 50 million naira. And for this, we are going to be developing, I'm sure the term economies of production is not going to be strange to you if you are in this business. We would have an EOP that will be established, and the funding is based on the EOP, and each farmer can get up to 50 million naira, right? Up to 50 million naira in this scheme. So this is a very fantastic one, especially for you into the backward integration part of agriculture. So these are the offerings that we have that would help prepare you for export, and of course even conduct the exportation businesses as well. And if you have any further information, please feel free to reach out to us, agribusinessgroup@accessbankplc.com. That's the mail address. Thank you very much, and over to you now, Ife. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oluwa Fumbi, for that. I am sure that we've all heard the things that the agribusiness sector are prepared for you as agribusiness owners through the bank. And so make sure to take up every opportunity that is made available for you. We are here for you as a bank. So today we have an exciting lineup structured in two powerful segments, each addressing a critical point in your journey as an agribusiness entrepreneur. Our first segment will break down the essential steps every agripreneur must master to successfully move products beyond local borders. We're talking about understanding global supply chain requirements, to identifying the right markets, to ensuring that all documentations and standards are in place for seamless export. So whether you are already exporting or planning to step into the international markets, this conversation is going to equip you with knowledge, with clarity, and with confidence that you need to scale globally. And so to lead this conversation is a man who joined the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, NEPC, as a principal trade promotion officer in 2019. Having facilitated several workshops on trade promotion in Nigeria, he is presently an Assistant Chief Trade Promotion Officer with a focus on American and China markets. Today, he will be speaking to the topic supply chain management for export markets and also market access strategies. Please welcome with me, with your virtual claps in the comment section like we always do, Emmanuel Ewewe. Hello, Mr. Emmanuel. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. Hello, Mr. Emmanuel. It appears Mr. Emmanuel has a bit of a network challenge. Mr. Emmanuel, can you hear us? Hello, Mr. Emmanuel, can you hear us? Mr. Emmanuel, are you here with us? So I see that Mr. Emmanuel may have been thrown out of the meeting, experiencing a little bit of a challenge. Mr. Aminu, are you here?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh,
hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay, so I think we'll take your presentation because Mr. Emmanuel has been thrown out of the meeting.
Mm. Okay, it's like he's trying to
So
call me. Let me.
Mr. Aminu is, I'm sorry?
Yes, I said I'm trying to reach out to Emmanuel to find out what it is. But you can go on, please. I think you will join later.
Okay, great. Okay, so I will just go ahead to introduce your session as well. So Mr. Amino is going to be speaking to the importance of proper processing, internal packaging, and meeting international standard, along with the certifications and quality assurance measures that are required to, penetrate and sustain a presence in the global markets. If you're looking to elevate your product, strengthen its market appeal, and meet the expectations of international buyers, then this segment is the segment for you. And to lead us in that conversation is Mr. Aminu Lawal Bakin Kasua. He is a deputy director at the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, an expert in international trade development, export promotion, training, and coaching of SMEs with vast experience spanning 23 years. He has spearheaded the creation of successful training programs known as Export Skills Acquisition Program, ESAP, as well as their Hibiscus Export Expansion Program. So please welcome with me with your virtual claps in the comment section as we welcome Mr. Aminu Lawal Bakin Kazoa. Hello, Mr. Aminu. Please go ahead with your presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me confirm, please, if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. Thank you very much for this opportunity to make a presentation on value addition, processing.
Your video is not on if you do not know.
Sorry?
We can't see you. That's what I'm trying to say.
You can see me? You can see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
So I can go ahead.
All right.
Okay. So, like I said, I thank you very much for this opportunity to make a presentation to a wonderful audience on value addition, processing, and internal packaging for export, which might lead to a successful, access to a valuable market. Now, let us start by looking at what value addition and processing, including internal packaging, even though packaging is also one of the components of value addition. What are those practices? Why are they important? They are essential practices to enhance export competitiveness and meet international standards. Value addition practice increase the product quality, market access, and profitability for exporters. As we go on, we will see the reason why this is very, very important. Now, when you are into value addition, what are the practices that you are supposed to imbibe? That's the practices that you are supposed to imbibe in order to achieve that objective. First is the aim is to transform a raw commodity into a higher value product through further processing, branding, or packaging, or in this case, it can be both, which can help it capture a more revenue and create jobs. It's also important for you to emphasize innovation and technology to improve the quality of your product and adapt to a changing market demand. Focus on meeting a sector-specific standard, depending on where you are going, whether you are in food safety or you are concerned about organic certifications for agricultural exports, which often require key components of traceability and quality control. Then again, you leverage on opportunities in green and digital transition. As you know now, in this world, every environment, every endeavor is trying to lean and keen towards a green environment. Sustainability, what are you going to do that is going to help to improve on the conditions and situations of the environment, rather than, doing things that are going to affect the environment negatively. So we're talking about sustainable production, digital traceability, and value addition in modern export markets. Then another best practice is, when it comes to processing, is you have to maintain strict hygiene and quality control during processing to meet destination country requirements. Nowadays, one of the reasons why Nigerian goods are attracting low prices internationally is because of one of these issues. This issue of credibility, that how do we trust your process? Is your process, are you applying the processes that are strict enough hygienically? Are you able to control the quality of your process while you are producing these goods? So this is one area that is a key challenge to Nigerian goods in international market. Then the next issue is when implementation of efficient supply chain management to ensure time delivery and product freshness. Now, most of this is 6% of the global the companies in the world, only 6% have visibility of their supply chain. Companies now want to see where you are, where you source your product, how you deliver them, the time of the delivery, so that they are tied to, companies are tied to global chains. What you do here is likely to affect somebody in a far world. So if you are not able to meet your obligation, your supply chain management is not good, it's not efficient, you will create a lot of disruptions. And then it's also important for you to align with international standards such as HACCP or ISO certifications to boost your credibility and acceptance. This is where the issue of standards and standardization comes in. Then let us now look at one critical component when it comes to, the value addition, which is packaging. As you all know, packaging is the fine art and technology of enclosing, protecting, preserving, storing, transporting, and presenting products for distribution, sell, and use. You can see by this definition, you can see the functions of packaging. One, which is for enclosing. One, protection, preservation, storage, transportation, and also presentation of products and distribution for sale and use to the end user. So you can see here, right from here, you can now bring out 7 functions of one key component of value addition. It serves as a protected barrier, a marketing tool, and a logistical enabler for goods across industries. Packaging, in most cases, many of us do not know that it is the major enabler for logistics. How you package your goods will determine how easy or convenient or even acceptable will be in a logistic industry. So what are these types of packaging that we are talking about? Number one packaging is the primary packaging, which we call consumer packaging. It's the packaging that directly contains the product and is seen by the end user. For example, bottles. A bottle is a package. You package water inside the bottle. That is what I see when I buy a bottle of water. Cans, pouches, sachets, blister packs for pharmaceuticals, cosmetic tubes, and jars. This is the primary packaging is the one that is in direct contact with the consumer, the end user. Then the second one is the secondary type of packaging, which is we call the group packaging. Group packaging holds multiple primary packages together for storage or display. For example, cardboard boxes, shrink wrap, paper boards, display-ready packaging for retail. For example, if you are buying a carton of your bottled water, they come in maybe in 12 or 20. They are being wrapped either in a carton or in one form of leather or something. That is the kind of primary, the secondary packaging they get. And secondary packaging is normally used as a group packaging. Then there is the tertiary packaging, which is mainly used for transporting goods. And the major function is they protect the product during the shipping and bulk handling, like pallets, corrugated boxes, crates, and barrels, including container. This 20-foot container or 40-foot container that you see is what we call the big box. It's also a type of packaging, where goods are being used. It's being used for transportation. So you can see you are packaging, while you package your product in a primary setup, you group it in a secondary setup, then you also need a packaging that will protect your goods when it comes to the issue of logistics while transporting it. It's not enough for you to say you are just going to leave your goods just like that while it is being transported. Now, this will now show you the types of packaging by material. You will use plastic, as in bottles, bags, containers, and the advantage is they are lightweight and durable. But the negative aspect of using a plastic material for packaging is it causes environmental pollution. We are all aware of that. Then you have material glass, normally that you use in food and beverages, cosmetics. Advantage is they are recyclable, the premium fuel, The disadvantage is they are heavy and fragile. Then the next one is metal. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. The next one is metal, which is cans and aerosols. The advantage is they are strong, they last long, but they are costly to produce. Then you have paper and cardboard. You use it in an eco-friendly packaging. The advantage is they are sustainable and compostable. But the advantage is they are less durable and they are expensive. So you can go on and see, an advanced types of packaging where you have aseptic packaging that you use for milk cartons, for sterilization, long shelf life. You have a packaging we call the modified atmosphere packaging that extend the food freshness. You have smart packaging where you have radio frequency identification, tags for freshness indicators, for hot packaging, for heat resistant, ready to eat meals. Then you have industry specific packaging, as we have mentioned, like in food and beverages, you have vacuum sealed bags, paper packs. In pharmaceuticals, you normally have packaging that is child resistant and tamper evident. You are very much aware of that. And the e-commerce, you have mailer bags, padded envelopes. When it comes to luxury food goods, you have magnetic closure boxes and foiling. So again, when we go back, like I mentioned earlier, in the definition of packaging, we have already seen the key functions and objectives, but they are highlighted here for the purpose of documentation. One, the objective is, product protection. They shield commodities from physical damage, moisture, pests, and temperature fluctuations during extended transit period. It is also served as a preservative where maintaining freshness and extending shelf life through appropriate material selection and packaging technologies. Another objective is compliance, meeting international phytosanitary standards and destination country regulations. The next one is efficiency. It allows you to optimize space utilization in shipping containers and transportation vehicles. When your goods are arranged and well packaged, you tend to carry more rather than if they are in a disaggregated manner. Then marketability. It enhances the product presentation and brand image in foreign markets. I am sure, the way goods are appealing to us in our supermarkets has to do with the way they are packaged. So now, how does export packaging differ significantly from domestic packaging? One, the export packaging is more stringent durability requirements for international logistics. This is simple because it requires a longer period of transportation rather than local. Today, I can transport my goods from here to Lagos within hours, from Abuja to Kano within hours. But sending a container to South America will take a minimum of 6 weeks. Far East Asia can be even much, much more than that. And these goods will be subjected to a variant temperature degrees. So another way that they differ is additional labeling and documentation needs. And there is also greater emphasis on pest prevention and phytosanitary measures. There is also a need for compatibility with various transportation modes, that is either sea, air, or land. And there is a consideration of longer supply chain timelines and more handling times. meaning that your goods may be handled at more than one point. Some of the shipments will pass through a transit location where your container has to be, uploaded and reloaded in another vessel, probably more than one. And depending on the type of the contract agreement you have, depending on the type of importance that you are using, whether it is free along carrier, whether it is FOB, whether it is CIF, whether it is DDP, duty delivered paid, you will find out that your container or your goods may change hands at various points. So the nature of your packaging will determine how durable, how how preserved, how good, how intact your goods will arrive to its destination. Then there is this issue of delicate produce, protective packaging and cautionary materials like molded or corrugated dividers, especially for perishable. Then you have, other packaging for tubers or root crop, where you use pallet or plastic crate or cartons, incorporated cartons, and then some other processed agricultural products. Some you use vacuum sealed bags or cans that extend the shelf life of the product. Then again, like I mentioned, the choice of packaging must align with the transportation method and expected transit time. For a sea freight, it requires a robust and moisture-resistant packaging that can withstand potential salt water exposure and extended durations, sometimes from weeks to months. For air freight, you prioritize lightweight materials. Weight is always an issue when it comes to air cargo to minimize cost while still providing adequate protection. Then for land transportation, you also need a packaging that can endure vibration and frequent handling. So now, for long distance shipments, consider incorporating a moisture absorbing material. Now, this is a little bit easier because more than 90% of the goods that are being traded are being shipped by sea. So even the bags that you are going to use, in stocking your goods, the kind of packaging already meet this kind of requirement. There are many of them are moisture absorbing materials, and for perishables, we have refrigerated containers, where you have this kind of temperature control elements for sensitive products. We call them reefer containers. And also there could be some additional protective layers against container wall contact. They call it dressing of the container so that it will serve the purpose. Then again, it is also important for you to know the destination market regulations. Each important country maintains a specific packaging requirements that exporters must meticulously follow. Then there is also the issue of phytosanitary standards, which many countries mandate pest-free packaging materials and may require fumigation certificate. There are the labeling requirements, which typically include product details, handling instructions, country of origin, and expiration of dates in the local language. Now, at this point, let me try to recall. Maybe some of you may be aware of this. Over a decade ago, there is one popular product in Nigeria here, Dudu Ocean, black soap, that, was rejected it couldn't enter the US market, not because of the quality of the product, but because of the packaging and the labeling on it. All of us also know TomTom. TomTom also suffered the same fate in the US market because of issue of packaging and labeling. Just to show you how important, there are two components. When I saw the title of the presentation, packaging was mentioned, but labeling was not mentioned. I said that it's just like, mentioning half a dozen, half full and leaving the other one at half empty. They go together. No packaging will be acceptable without proper labeling in international market. So then there is also issue of material restrictions. Some nations may prohibit certain packaging material, for whatever reason. Maybe e.g. wood pallets may require heat treatment. But here, when you see material restrictions, it could be largely political or one reason or the other. Let me give you an example. Before the expiration of African Growth Opportunity Act, AGOA, a window opportunity that allows African countries to export over 5,000 products into the US market. One of the eligibility criteria is rule of origin, where say that whatever product that you want to export to the US market under AGOA must originate from the originating country, the country that is eligible. Now, for example, if you are exporting a bottle of water from Nigeria, the material used should originate from Nigeria as the eligible country. Or where Nigeria cannot produce that material, can source from another eligible country in Africa. So maybe Nigeria can import from Ghana a plastic bottle, fill the water in Nigeria and export to the US. I'm just giving an example. That is what we call bilateral rule of origin. Or in the event where the material that you are using is not being produced by any of the eligible countries in Africa, you have to import it from a third country that has a bilateral trade relationship with the United States of America. So maybe you go to France, import a plastic bottle, fill the water here in Nigeria and export to America. That is what we call cumulative rule of origin. So you can see some materials can be restricted for political reasons. If you go and import a material, let's say from China, that does not have, or a country that does not have a trade relationship, a bilateral trade relationship with the United States of America, your goods cannot be allowed into the US market. These are some of the things that we call technical barriers, that are being put in international trade. Then there is also the cultural preferences, color schemes, design elements that resonate with local consumers. For example, green in Turkey, Australia versus red, China, and stuff like that. So, and again, in your packaging, you have to take into consideration the eco-friendly material options. With growing environmental concerns, sustainable packaging has become a competitive advantage in cultural export. Using biodegradable and compostable material is an advantage. Recycled content packaging is also an advantage. Reusable containers, for example, where I think by next year, 2026, in the European Union, all the 27 member nations are going to ban the use of virgin materials in their plastic products. So if you notice around you, that is why you will see the business of plastic recycling in Nigeria is booming. You can see a lot of investment. This is the reason, because 27 countries by next year will stop using virgin materials to produce plastics. They will only accept plastics that are from recyclable materials. So using natural fiber bags like jute, hemp, cotton alternatives, and stuff like that. Then you also find a way of, trying to, in your packaging, how do you reduce waste? Come out with a strategy. First of all, right sizing of the packaging. Do the packaging that fits your product, minimizing material use while maintaining protection. Don't use a packaging that is too big for your goods. Pallet optimization. You design your packages to maximize container space utilizing the EUR pallet dimension, for example. The cycling program, implementing tech bag system for reusable packages, and also material innovation. Light weighting and alternative materials development. And this is where issue of research and development comes in. When you are using innovation, to try one form of packaging or the other, at the same time trying to meet the requirement. Then there is also the issue of life cycle consideration. Take note of carbon footprint analysis of different packaging options, end of life scenarios, ensuring your packaging can be properly disposed or recycled in target markets, and consumer
Excuse me, Mr. Aminu.
Yes,
I'm
please.
sorry to cut you short, but some people are complaining that they are not able to hear you very well.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear me. You?
Yes, it's better now.
No, it's better now, and I hope they can hear me as well, but I don't know if they have issue with their network. Sometimes it can be an issue from their own side, but I will do
Okay,
my
sir.
best to see.
All right, thank you.
Yes, so I said I'm talking about consumer education. So on proper disposal methods through package and labeling. And you can only educate your consumer if you are labeling, if you get your labeling right. So you can see how intertwined they are. How do you pass information to your customer on your packaging? So always when you are talking about labeling, when you are talking about packaging, when you are designing your packaging, do not forget to design what we call your PDP. Yeah, that is your, the public display panel, product display panel, where you display the information on your product. It is very, very, very important. Your design of your packaging should give adequate space for you to, pass information that your customer will understand. I'm sure sometimes when you pick some of the packaging, you will see, even if the writing, if the printing is good, you find out that sometimes the writing is so tiny that even if you use a magnifying glass, you cannot read out, and it becomes very tedious for somebody to read. So when somebody picks your product and see that you can't read any information, how does he know what he's going to buy? So some of the recommendations for you is to conduct a thorough market research, understand the packaging preferences and the regulations in your target market before designing your solution. Invest in quality packaging. The upfront cost is justified by reduced product losses and better market perception. Implement clear handling instruction. This is just what I said. You are labeling. Mark your packages appropriate. If it is this side up, sometimes you find that customers find it difficult. Where do I open this package? How do I open it? Whether it is fragile, and some limitations to prevent damage. Develop a relationship with logistic providers. Who moves your goods is very, very important. Work with experience, even if it is local transportation. Develop a partnership with people that know the value of your goods. Know that, your goods are not for local markets. Let them understand that so that they will handle your goods in good care. and always stay informed about regulatory changes. Subscribe to updates from relevant government agencies and trade associations. And always consider sustainability is the in thing now. If you are able to, to change your packaging in a sustainable way, you will have an opportunity to access some markets that you will not even dream of. And again, like I said, test packaging solutions. We conduct trial shipments to evaluate performance before full-scale implementation. And documentation is very key. Maintain complete records of packaging specifications, certifications, and compliance documents. Again, I want to highlight some of the essential labeling requirements. Clearly display your product name, the ingredients, and the allergen information. Any. Include country of origin, weight, volume in metric units. Provide handling instructions, expiry dates, certifications, and quality marks. Translate labels accurately into the important country's language, or rather languages. Comply with specific regulations of target export market. Please make sure this is very, very important. And then also manufacturer distributor's name and address as per original requirement. This is very key with the US market. Since September 11th, I think 2001, the attack in New York, they made it mandatory in the labeling that you must write the name of the distributor of your products in the United States of America. So in the event of anything, they can trace it to the importer. Shipping marks, including shippers marks, number of packages, size, and handling marks, cautionary and hazardous materials markings as applicable. Now, this is also, a practical fix for packaging and labeling. Ensure labels are legible as we mentioned and durable using high quality printing. Sometimes you find out of some labels on the product, you find that they are not even readable. You see that some of them are even damaged when they are being printed. Nobody, no matter how good your product is, if the message of the packaging is not communicating, nobody will bother to open or to go and test to find out. So like I said, again, and all these things that we are doing, what are we trying to achieve? We are trying to set up a standard. And what are these standards? That basically what you have mentioned earlier. Export standards are specific requirements that product must meet to be eligible for export by some countries or region. Simply, that is what a standard is. Your ability to meet a requirement in an important country. And what are quality specifications? Quality specifications set by important countries such as health certificate, certificate of analysis, samples of laboratory testing, e.g., what NAFDAC does here in Nigeria, And then this certification that you are talking about, what is it? We mentioned the certification. You need this certificate, either NAFDAC certificate or NAQS certificate, phytosanitary certificate. What is certification? It's a process that will verify that your product meets established export standards. So while you are trying to meet export standard, the process of meeting that standard is through certification. And it involves independent inspection, testing, documentation by recognized authorities to attest that the goods comply with specified goods and safety norms. And certifications can include quality marks, certificates such as ISO, CE for the European countries, and other industry-specific certifications that assure buyers of a product's conformity. Could be organic certification, it could be kosher certification, it could be halal certification, and many of them, depending on the buyer's preferences, all you are trying to do is to assure them that your product is in conformity with what they require. Then again, I mentioned this compliance with internationally recognized food safety and management systems such as GMP, GHP, GAP, and HACCP, especially for risk-prone products like meat, dairy, poultry, and marine products. Then the next one is adherence to specific packaging and labeling. You can see that the packaging and labeling comes under certification as well, which means that no matter how good agricultural practices you are practicing, or your GMP is good, or your hygienic practice is good, as long as you are not able to meet the requirements on packaging and labeling regulations, which may involve international standards such as those of International Maritime Organization or Air Transport Association, your goods may not even be shipped out of your country because you do not comply with their packaging standard for logistics issue. So you can see that no matter how good your products are, if you do not meet the packaging standard for your logistics handler, they will not even carry your goods. Then again, when you go back to the end users, that is where the issue of USDA and FDA comes in from the US. Food Standard Agency, DEFRA in the UK for food export on issue of hygiene, traceability, and environmental sustainability. Like I said, in export business, as some of you may be aware, sometimes documents are more important than the product itself. And there are three kinds of movements in export, in trade. Movements of goods, movements of documents, and movement of money, that is payment. And without documentation, the two are useless. So documentation, as far as your phytosanitary certificates, health certificates, veterinary certificates, or fumigation certificates, to prove compliance with safety and quality assurance measures are necessary for exports. Now, what is the quality assurance? You have set up your standard, you have acquired certifications. Then how do you know what is quality assurance? Quality assurance is a systematic process of maintaining and improving product quality throughout the production, packaging, and shipping stages. What requires your quality assurance is the processes that you have set up for you to maintain the quality, the standard you have set, and also the mechanisms you have put for continuous improvement of that quality of your product at the time of production, packaging, and shipping logistics. It involves inspection, testing, certification, proper labeling to ensure goods are safe, continuous improvement, meeting technical specifications, satisfy regulatory requirements of the important country, but most importantly, quality assurance is that the kind of improvement that you are making in your process. It helps you to protect the exporting country's trade reputation, minimize rejection rates, and build trust with international customers. So in summary, export standards define the rules and the criteria for products to be exported. Certification validates the compliance with these standards, and quality assurance ensures continuous adherence to quality during production and export process. And in conclusion, I will say applying this value addition for certain and internal packaging best practices enables exporters to improve product competitiveness, acquire certification, meet standard buyer expectations, and also you minimize losses due to damage or rejection. On this note, I can see that my time is up. I was told I have 25 minutes. I would like to say thank you very much, and I will be available to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Aminu. Please, let's put our hands together in the comment section and say thank you to Mr. Aminu for, highlighting all those important things that we need to know. And one thing that I think he emphasized on is quality, whether on your product as the business owner or even for every other thing that you need to do in terms of packaging and the likes. Quality is very key because you need to adhere to standards of this of these countries before you're able to export your products. And so it is important to adhere to all these things so that you will be in the good book. So thank you so much, Mr. Aminu. It was a very insightful session that you have just given to us. I know that a few of us have questions for Mr. Aminu, so please make sure to drop your questions in the chat box while we take the second presentation. Mr. Emmanuel, are you here with us now? Hello, Mr. Emmanuel. Are you here now?
Yes, Mr. Emmanuel is here.
Okay, so we'll just open the floor to you to make your presentation, and then we're going to ask our questions afterwards.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Good evening, sir. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My name is Emmanuel. I'm a market trade expert with the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, and I will be taking you through supply chain management and the market access for exports. And then these are two key areas that are very crucial. The day you decide to go into export business, then you start looking at excellence in these areas. Now, supply chain management for export markets. Here's the next slide. So what are the objectives? We're looking at understanding the basics of supply chain management. It's key. So whatever you are going into, whatever form of business you are going to, there is need for you to understand the basis of the supply chain management. You must ensure that every aspect of that business you are going into, you have a clear understanding of that business. We're also looking at exploring the role of supply chain management in export trade as one of the objectives. Another objective is to identify challenges and opportunities for women in agribusiness exports. Another one also is learn practical strategies to strengthen export readiness. So how do you strengthen your export readiness? You see situations whereby we usually have this experience. You will see people come into our offices. They have never done exports before. They don't even understand the rudiment of doing exports. But we see a situation whereby they come and they say, look, we want to start exporting. So where do you start from? Do you have the certifications? Have you even registered as an exporter? No. So there is need for you to strengthen your export readiness. There is need for it. The day you decide you want to go into export business, you must do that. Now, there's this quote by Daniel Staton. It says, supply chain management is about creating value, meeting your customers' need in the right place, at the right time, at the right level of quality for the lowest cost. Where are you sourcing your materials from? How are you processing it? What other value chain, what other processing do you take it to? So these are things you must look at. You must look at and ensure that you maximize profit and you also sell at the best price to your customers. We also have another quote by Paul Dickress. It says supply chain management is not about having the fastest or cheapest logistics. It's about having the most reliable. Your supply chain must be reliable. It must not fail at any point. It must not fail. It must be reliable. It must be. So the day you start going, you decide you want to go into export business, you must ensure that you put everything in place in terms of logistics, how you get your material sourcing, everything must be in place. So that at any point in time, there is need for you to meet up, then you must not fail. It is very crucial the day you decide to go into export business. Now, what is supply chain management? Simply, it is the flow of goods and services from farm to international market. So for those of us who are farmers, I believe all the women here are farmers. So from your goods and services from the farm to the international market. So your ginger from the farm to the international market, maybe China. Your ginger from the farm, maybe to the United States of America or to UK or Europe. That is how do you pick it up? How do you refine it? How do you process it? How do you package it? How do you export it? Those are the channels we are looking at. That is what supply chain management is. So supply chain management also covers production, processing, storage, transporting, marketing, and export compliance. So it's a whole lot. So the supply chain management is a whole lot. So you must be able to manage the production. You must be able to manage the processing. You must be able to manage the storage. Then you must be able to manage how you lift it from point A to B. You must be able to manage the marketing. How do you market your products? The marketing. And you must ensure that you also have the required certification. That is the compliance of the market, compliance to the market, demands that you are selling to. And even from here that you are lifting it from, you need to have the necessary certification. Now, what is the goal of supply chain management? The goal of supply chain management is to deliver the right products in the right quantity at the right time to the right markets. This is key. To deliver the right products in the right quantity at the right time to the right market. You must be able to manage the timing of each process in this supply chain management. Because if you have given your customer a certain time that you are going to deliver your goods at a certain time, and you default, then the issue of trust comes in. So, and I'm sure you don't want to lose your customer as an exporter. So you must be able to manage this whole processing. Now, who are the key players in agribusiness supply chain? Who are the key players? We have the farmers and the producers. We have the processors and we have the packagers. My colleague has, dwelt so much about on this packaging earlier on. So I'm sure we have gained so much knowledge from that. So we're also looking at the transport and the logistics providers. We're looking at export agents and the freight forwarders. We're looking at the importers and the distributors. We're also looking at the consumers. So these are the key players in agribusiness supply chain. Next slide. So I'll just look at this diagram. I'm sure this slide will be shared to every participant that will require it at some point. So you can see the supply chain flow, supply management chain flow. This is it from your raw materials, from where you procure it to your supplier, the company, the retailer, then the end user. You can see, so this is the supply chain flow chart. Then what is the importance of supply chain management in export markets? What are the importance? Number one, it ensures that product quality and safety are, attained. So one of the importance is to ensure product quality and safety. It's the importance of supply chain management in export. If your product is of no quality, then you're on the way to losing most of your quality customers. Your product must be safe also. Your product must be safe. It is key. It is key. The day you decide to go into export business, you must have quality as a watchword and safety. It is very important. Another importance of supply chain management in export market is it reduces losses and cost. It reduces losses and cost. It also enhances market access and competitiveness. Once your product is trusted, once they trust the flow, the management of your product, I can tell you, you are on your way of making it big in the export business. Now, it builds trust with international buyers. While I'm talking about market access, I will dwell more on some of these things with examples. So I'll just run through this. So one of the important builds trust with international buyers. Once your international buyers trust you, then you can be rest assured that they will always reach out to you once there is need for your products. Another importance is that it meets export regulations and certification. Supply chain management in export market. One of the important is that it ensures that you meet export regulations and certification. It also enables regular supply of products. As I said, once your buyers trust you, they will keep coming to you to buy your product. They will keep coming to get your product from you. Now, the next slide says agribusinesses export supply chain stages. What are the stages? Number one, production. Good agricultural practices. You must ensure good agricultural practices at the point of production. Number two, processing and packaging. The value addition, the branding. You must ensure that your branding is top-notch. You must ensure that your product is well branded. It is key. It is key. Because what they will see first is the packaging of your product before they even see what is inside. And you will agree with me. For instance, the Ijebu Gari, some time ago when I was in the US, when I was in the States, I saw different Gari Ijebu on the shelf with different packaging. And while I was in that same store, I saw that a lot of people got attracted to a particular Ijebu Gari that was packaged in a better, that was packaged better than the other. So the packaging was better than the other. And even though the Ijebu Gari was the same, the packaging was what made the difference. So people went more for the one that had better packaging. So we must ensure that our branding, our packaging is very, very okay. So we're also looking at quality control. What are the standards? What are the certifications we possess? So these are also important. We're also looking at storage and the transport, the cold chain management, your storage and the transportation. How do you store your products? How do you move them from point A to B? How is it being handled? Is also key in supply chain management in the stages. So we're also looking at export documentation, the customs, the phytosanitary certificates. All forms of certificates should be available. It must be available. The day you decide to go into export, you must make sure your documentation is in place. It is key. Then we're also looking at distribution, your market entry, and your consumer, requests, your market entry. These are also key. We're also looking at agribusiness. Next slide, please. We're looking at challenges for women in agribusiness. Yeah, what are the challenges as women we face in the agribusiness? Number one, even though it's a universal challenge, you agree with me, we have limited access to finance and export information. And we must commend Access Bank for creating this forum for dissemination of information for people who are in the export business. I think Access Bank, well done, kudos to you. So limited access to finance and export information. So now we at the NEPC, one thing we do always is continuous education. We keep educating exporters on the requirements to export into any market you decide to. So we keep giving export information. And that is one of the challenges people face, access to information and also access to finance. Of course, there are several mediums where you can access funds Yeah, but even while you are trying to assess that, you must have the right documentation, the requirement for loan to be disbursed or for your business to be financed. So you must ensure that you are export ready. It is key. One of the challenges is also weak infrastructure. How many of us have the right storage facilities? How many of us have the right storage facilities? Then we also talk about roads. We have very bad road network for moving our product from point A to B. And the moment you want to move your product from point A to B, we're also looking at timing. A distance that is supposed to take you for about 10 hours ends up taking you maybe 15, 20 hours. This may now result to you not meeting up with your timing, with your supply timing, and thereby losing businesses. So this is one of the key challenge. Roads, the infrastructure, it is key. So we're also looking at inadequate knowledge of export standard. Inadequate knowledge of export standard. Just this afternoon, I had an exporter who called me, and he said he got a call or he got an opportunity to export to China. And the next thing was that he was already in the market sourcing for materials, sourcing for products, sesame seed for him to export. Now, the point is, as of today, if you want to export to China, there is a major requirement in terms of the registration with the Chinese customs that you must register with the Chinese customs. It is called GACT. If you don't do that, there is no way any of your product can get into the Chinese market. There is no way. So today, if you decide to export to China, there are certifications you must have in place. So a lot of people don't have that knowledge. So when this guy came today and he was saying he wanted to do that, the first question I asked him was, do you have the GACC? He has never heard about it. So how then do you export? So any of us that is hearing me today, you want to go into exporting into the Chinese market, then you need to seek for adequate knowledge in terms of the necessary registration you must have. Not only the Chinese market, even UK. Well, talking about DCTS, 2 weeks ago, I was in a meeting in Lagos where there are platforms that exporters can leverage on to export to UK at minimal tariffs. At minimal tariffs. So if you don't have this knowledge, then you don't know. You don't export at the normal tariff, very high tariff, and your profits will be eaten into. So knowledge is key for you to know how to operate in certain markets. We're also looking at one of the challenges to the gender-related barriers in trade network. Yeah, we're also looking at high logistics and compliance costs. It is costly. If you don't comply, it could be costly. You could lose your products even on the high sea. Just like the example I was giving to you, if you don't have the required certification like that GACC I mentioned, once your product arrives at the seashore, at the port of China, you will not be allowed to offload. You must have that registration. And what's the meaning of that? That means you have lost big time in that business you are going into. So as we have challenges, we also have opportunities, very vibrant opportunities for women in export supply chain. We also have growing demands for organic and sustainable products. There is growing demand. This is an opportunity. So as women in export, if we can leverage on this source for markets, be vibrant in your search for markets, there is no way you will not make it once you are committed to it. So there's a growing demand for organic and sustainable products. Just like I said, the Chinese market don't even accept any product that has been processed. They want it in its raw stage. So there are so many other markets like that that wants product in its raw state. They don't want any form of value addition. So you must be able to identify markets that you can fit into as one of the opportunities and leverage on it. We also look at after an international trade agreement. There are several agreements. There are several agreements. For the after, we are looking at how right now how Africa can be unified in terms of the tariff, where you can move your goods from Nigeria to other African countries at minimum of zero tariffs. So these are opportunities that we can leverage on. We also have digital platforms for market access and logistics. We have niche markets, e.g., spices, shea butter, hibiscus, sesame. There are some markets that your sesame is required. So you must identify those markets and push in your sesame seed into those markets. Carve out that market for yourself. As an exporter, you cannot target all markets. No, you cannot. You must identify one market and focus on it. You cannot be targeting Europe, you cannot be targeting Asia, you cannot be targeting America at the same time. No, target one and be a champion in that area. It is very key the moment you decide you want to go into export business. So what are the best practices in supply chain management? We see build strong producers group, that is cooperatives. Invest in quality assurance and certification. You must invest in certification. Develop traceability system. Let people be able to trace the origin of your product. Partner with logistics and export agents. Stop, build relationship with export agents. Stop changing. When you start changing, then you could run into problem. You just try and build trust with one of the logistics company and stick to them. Establish relationship with them. Then at any point in time, they understand the flow of your business. It is key. They understand how you want your product to be handled. So this is key why you are in supply, why we are looking at the supply chain management. So we also use ICT tools, apps for tracking, mobile payments, and e-commerce. These are key in the supply chain management processes. We also look at continuous capacity building and training. You must keep updating your knowledge. It is very important as an exporter. Keep updating. So export supply chain case study. Now, I just brought out this example, so we'll just look at it on the dashboard. Look at hibiscus flower export from Nigeria to Europe. So we see how it is the process flow, the supply chain management. We're looking at from the farmers to the aggregators, from the aggregators to the processors, from the processors to the exporter, and from the exporter, you take it to the international buyer. That is the flow. That is the flow. So it also highlights how women's cooperatives improve packaging and quality control. Results, access to EU markets and higher income. So this case study, I drafted this case study from an exporter who was into hibiscus processing and exports. And this was the flow. And this exporter started about 3 years ago when he started aiming at the EU market and he started supplying hibiscus flower. And today, I can tell you the story is not the same. He came to the NEPC and ensured that he kept attending all our knowledge giving programs, all our capacity building programs. And today, the story is not the same. He is the key player in the EU market today. So you must be dedicated. And once you can do that, then success is inevitable. Success is inevitable. So we'll now look at the role of women in strengthening supply chain management. Leadership in cooperatives and agribusiness enterprises. Innovation in processing and value addition. Advocacy for gender-friendly trade policies. We must start having gender-friendly trade policies. So women should start advocating for this. So once this is in place, it strengthens the ability or the capacity of women in export to thrive better in this space. So we're also looking at driving sustainability practices and culture. You need to start embarking on things that can sustain these good practices, drive your sustainability in the agricultural space while you are trying to export. So these are roles that must be put in place to strengthen women in supply chain management. Practical tips for agripreneur. You must join an export through cooperative or trade association. You must seek NEPC, ITC, AFCFTA, and donor program support. Just like my colleague have mentioned earlier, there are several programs that the NEPC organizes, the ITC organizes, even after and donor program agencies. They organize this program just to keep feeding our exporters with information so they can try better in the export business. So these are tips for women in agri. Please keep seeking for knowledge. Keep seeking, going after knowledge. The way you export last year is not the same. They keep changing policies. They keep changing. They keep changing. For China, you have Decree 248 and Decree 246 that have been reviewed. So if you have been exporting to China 5 years ago, 4 years ago, you can't export the same way you exported 4 years ago today. A lot has been changed. So if you don't keep going for knowledge, then you will miss out. You will miss out. So keep going for knowledge. Start with regional markets before. So start with your regional market. It's important before you now start saying you want to go international. Start with ECOWAS. Look at ECOWAS. Look at after. Then you can now start going out. Ensure that you take it step by step, step by step. It is key. Focus on branding and storytelling. You can focus on branding. Network with buyers and logistic providers. These are also key tips for women in agripreneur. So resources and support. The Nigeria Export Promotion Council, the NEPC, as I have said earlier, they provide support programs for exporters. Last month, we saw a situation whereby the NEPC took about 23 exporters to Japan for the trade fair. Just this month, from the 5th to the 10th, the NEPC took about 25 exporters to the China International Fair and exhibition for 5 days. They supported them in terms of uplifting their products to China and also aiding them in other ways that could help their products to penetrate into that market. We also keep organizing capacity building programs just to help exporters. That's why I said you must keep going for knowledge. And the NEPC is well positioned to keep doing that for exporters. We're also looking at International Trade Center, the ICT, ITC, the sheet trades. Access Bank is also doing something in that area, like this program we're having now for women. Yes, it's just so that women will keep getting knowledge, be updated about what is required for them to thrive in the export business. It is key. AFCFTA, Women and Youth in Trade Program. Last month, the NEPC and AFTA AFTA organized a program in Enugu for exporters, just to keep them abreast of the recent development in the export business. So a lot is going on, resources and support, a lot of support. So we as women in export, we must strategically position ourselves to benefit from all these supports. It is key. It is key. Even export financing options, you have the banks. Some banks are there willing to assist, so long as you as an exporter, you know what you are doing. It is key. Once you understand the export business, then you can approach a bank, you can approach donor agency, you can even approach Bank of Industry. Nexim Bank is there. You can approach them for them to aid you in your export business. So this is key. So, well, what are the key takeaways? Supply chain management is critical for export success in agribusiness. How you handle your supply chain management is critical if you want to succeed in export business. So women face challenges, but also unique opportunities. The same way you have challenges, that is the same way you have a lot of opportunities. So you don't dwell on the challenges. Keep striving to see how you could lay your hands on all the opportunities and grab them as much as you can. One of the key takeaways should be collaborations, capacity building, and innovation drive. success. So keep pushing, keep collaborate. You might not be able to carry on the whole export activity alone. Collaborate. There is room for collaboration. There is an enterprise here in Abuja that aid in this regard. I don't want to mention their name. What they do is that if you cannot export to a certain market, they get this product from you. They get it, they collaborate with you, buy up the product from you, or you give them your product while you take the stock and they export it from you. So, but they do this for you while you are building your capacity. And the moment your capacity is built and you can now carry on the whole export value chain, the whole export process yourself, then you can do it. But so long as you don't have that capacity now, there is need for you to collaborate. While you are building your capacity, and also keep thinking on how you can make your business better. Export ready, supply chains, better income growth, and empowerment. So once you have your supply chain management in place, then you must succeed. It is key. In closing, on supply chain management, you must master the 5 C's of supply chain management. Number 1, cost management. Number 2, capacity. Build capacity. It is important. Connectivity. Build connection. Build contacts. Number 4, compliance. You must comply with the requirement of every market you are aiming at. And number 5, you must be consistent. Consistency is key in supply chain management. You will all agree with me that when women strengthen supply chains, they strengthen economies. I have not seen any business a woman decides to go into and they fail. I have never seen. So that is the key takeaway. When women strengthen supply chain, they strengthen economies. Going to the next topic. What is market access? After you have gone through a successful supply chain management processing, your aim is to get into the international markets. What is market access? The ability of a country or company to sell goods and services across borders, influenced by trade policies and tariffs, standards and regulations, trade agreements, e.g. the AFTA, WTO rules, the GACC, DCTS, and a lot more. So for you to have your goods into the international market, these are things you must meet. You must ensure standards and regulation, trade policies and tariffs, trade agreements. So your ability to move your goods from Nigeria across border is market access. What are the market access strategies? We look at market research. 4 months ago, I was in Ghana on market research. There are some things, even in Ghana, that is just our neighbor here, that they require that we have in Nigeria. If you don't go all out to conduct market research, how do you get to know where your product can go? You end up sending your product to Cote d'Ivoire when it is required, it is needed in Ghana. You end up aiming at China when your product is needed here in Ghana at the same cost, at reduced logistics. So you must conduct market research to know where your product is needed. You must identify high demand markets. Which market demands your products? Which market have high demand for your product? You must start looking at that. You must start looking at that. It is key as one of the market access strategies. You must study competition, pricing, and consumer behavior. How do people react to your product? It is key. You must study your competitor. You must check your price. Check your price with what is obtainable in other markets. Check it. If you want your product to do well, you must also check your pricing. It is key. What are the market entry modes? We have direct exporting. You may decide that you want to export on your own directly. Yes, you have the capacity to do that. Then you can do it if you have the capacity. But if you don't have the capacity, you can look at indirect exporting, where you use an agent or a distributor in your market, in the market you are targeting. You can use a distributor. You cannot go there, but of course you have identified a distributor and created, contacts, a relationship with that person, and the person buys your product or you ship your product to that person, and the person sells for you. So if you can't move your product directly, you must also start looking at indirect exporting. You can also look at joint ventures and partnership. I know of a company that is partnering, a shoemaking company in Nigeria here, that is partnering with a company in Ghana, partnering with a company in Algeria from the recently completed IATF, and is doing so well. It doesn't need to go over there. It doesn't need to. Partnership. Partnership. So as women in business, in agribusiness, women in export, we must start looking at this. You cannot start the process of export. Check your capacity. If you have the capacity, fine. But if you don't, start looking at how you can partner. It is key. It is key in export business. Trade agreement as tools. Leverage on, I've talked about this before. If you want to access the international market, leverage on AFCFTA, Africa Continental Free Trade Area. It is key. Leverage on ECOWAS. We have the ETLS. Please go back to the slide. We have the ETLS. It is key. It is key. We have AGUA. AGUA enables you to export to the United States of America without tariff. That's AGUA, Africa Growth Opportunity Act. Please, if you are looking at going into the American market, this is key. We also have the EU and EPA. We also have the GACP for Chinese markets. What are the other trade agreements and tools that you have to leverage on? We look at the tariff reduction, larger markets, and harmonized standards. Those are one of the benefits of trade agreement as tools. You know the rules of origin for preferential treatment. It is key. Product adaptation and standard. You must ensure that your products align products with target market regulation. Align your product with the target market. If you have a market you are targeting, please, it is key. Align your product. We have several issues of reject at some point for people trying to export to the UK. We have issues of reject from people trying to export to China. I get such cases all the time. All the time. You see people who will be exporting to China, and you see they will not ensure that their products are well processed. When I mean processed, I mean packaged before you export it, knowing fully whether that product is going to be on the high sea for 45 days. Now, your product arrived there, it is not the same way it was meant to be delivered. Now, what do you think is going to happen? So you must ensure that you align your product with the market regulation. If the market have said, this is how I want it to be, please give it to them that same way. If they want it semi-processed, give it to them that way. If they want you to have certain certification, certain agencies to have checked it, please ensure all of this is done. It is key in the export process, export process generally. So look at comply with technical standards and packaging and labeling. Make sure your product is well labeled. Ensure that you package very well. It is key. And ensure that you follow all the standards. Obtain necessary certifications, ISO, SUNCAP, and whatnot. Please, it is key to do that. Now, building export readiness. Do you build export readiness? Evaluate internal capacity. Meet quality and volume demands. Financial readiness and risk management. Build strong supply chain network. It is key. Once you have done this, then you will know yourself that you are ready for export. What is the role of export promotion agencies? That's the next slide. The role of export promotion agencies, one, like the NEPCs, is to support women in business, is to support exporters from moving their goods from one market to another, educating exporters, giving them the necessary build-up to enable them succeed in the export business and thereby gaining foreign exchange in return. We also look at training, market information, and export financing. We keep training, we keep training, we keep training. Severally in our offices in Lagos, all over the Federation, we keep educating. Same with other agencies who are in the export promotion business. Trade missions and exhibitions. As I speak to you now, there are exporters in Togo for the trade fair. Next month, we'll see exporters also going to Niger for trade fair. These are various ways that the Export Promotion Agency are ensuring that Nigerian products gain visibility in the international market. So these are all of the things. So export documentation overview. What is the purpose for export documentation? Facilitate trade. It ensures legal compliance and smooth customs clearance. Once you have the right documentation, you won't be having issues with customs. What are the types of documentation? We have commercial documents, we have transport documents, we have regulatory documents, we have financial documents. Key export documentation. What are the purpose? We have the pro forma invoice, quotations from exporters to buyers. We all know what that means. We have commercial invoice, final sales document. We have packing list, items, details, and packaging. We have bill of lading or airway bill, that is transport contract and proof of shipment. We have certificate of origin, which indicates product source for tariff benefits. We have export license, legal authorization to export. We have insurance certificate as a proof of shipment insurance. Regulatory and compliance documentation. We have the phytosanitary certificate. We have the SUNCAP certificate. We have the pre-shipment inspection reports. We have the customs export declaration form, the NXP. It is key. Financial and payment documentation. We have the letter of credit. We have the bill of exchange. We have the bank draft. We have the foreign exchange form and receipt. So these are financial or payments documentation. What can be used for payment? So it is key for us to be abreast with all of this. What are the challenges in market access? Tariffs and non-tariff barriers. Now, I get a lot of exporters calling me to ask me, why can we export this from certain countries free of charge and from Nigeria we have to pay? These are barriers. So, and the government is still working to ensure that some products that should not have tariffs be removed. And somebody called and said, I can export sesame seed from Niger with 0 tariff, but from Nigeria I have to pay about 14%. These are some of the challenges that the government is also looking into to see how all of this can be completely removed and will have equal opportunities like they have in other markets where they have 0 tariff. So these are some of the challenges. We have complex documentation. There are some documentation.
Hello, Mr. Emmanuel, are you still on the call?
Okay, I was just about to mention that it seems to have been frozen. Maybe it's having network challenges. Maybe you should also be rounding up with it's 6 minutes to 6. Maybe you should also prompt
I
him.
think he has just been thrown out of the meeting. So we're just going to give a minute or two for him to join back, and then we can take a few questions because our time is really far gone. So we take one or two questions for him and Mr. Aminu, and then we can call it a day on the webinar. I think they've not been able to rectify the network challenge that they have. I want to believe that everybody has gotten a lot of information on this session today. I apologize for closing a little bit later than usual, but I want to believe that the information that are being shared are actually something very worthwhile to each and every one of us as agribusiness entrepreneur. And we're excited to do this and bring this to you in partnership with the agribusiness segment at Access Bank. While we hold on for the team to get back in so that we can take at least one or two questions. We don't want to take much time anymore, so I will go on to take the closing remarks while we hold on to see
We can
if the
hear
team
you.
will be able to
So we
join.
can you hear us? We can hear you.
Oh, you can hear. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for joining us back. So because our time is a little bit gone, we're just going to take one or two questions from the audience, and then we can call it a day. Thank you so much for the time that you have spent with us today. So my first question I will direct to you, Mr. Aminu. I think that you're the one speaking. Am I correct?
Yes, you are.
Okay, great. So this question says, for many women agripreneurs working with limited resources, what are the most practical first steps they can take to upgrade their processing, their packaging, and the overall product presentation to meet international standards?
Well, thank you very much. But in your question, you have already put a caveat. You said with a limited resources. You understand? And that is the key word here is if you have limited resources, what can you do? What is the definition of limited resources? You understand? So within the limited resources that maybe an enterprise might have, what is the priority? You know, there is this catch-22 question that I normally ask. Which one comes first in terms of the two resources that you require? Is it the human resources or the financial resources? So what limitations are you talking about here? Is it the financial resources or the human resources or both? And this is where you as bank, if you are referring to financial resources, I think I should have said that you are the ones to answer that questions. You know, by asking you this question, how practicable is it for an SMB under the current financial situations in Nigeria today to have access to finance? You know, just yesterday, CBN maintained the interest rate at 27%. You understand? Now, that 27%, even without add-ons and all this, everything, which it will now cross to over 30 something percent, the 27% normally in most cases is higher than the profit margin than the business that you are looking for the loan to. So the key issue here is you mentioned an important issue that they have limited resources. And now access to financial resources is almost impossible in Nigeria. You understand what I'm saying? So how do we move forward? I think this forum should be a kind of opportunity to discuss and see that how do we, what are the issues? Why is it that, banks in Nigeria consider this sector as a high risk sector, that they are unwilling to lend money to this sector without this high the collateral issue? So the issue here, if I were to be frank with you, telling you that there is nothing anybody can use with a limited resources and you have no access to alternative funding, there is nothing or little you can do. If you look at the sources of funding, you start from family and friends. You understand? Then you now move to institutions like yours. But many financing is it's available, but it's not accessible in Nigeria. I'm sure you will agree with it. You understand what I'm saying? If I'm looking for it, by the time we go into the details, as they say, the devil is in the details. We now begin to see that it is almost impossible. So for somebody now to embark into research and development, to go into market research, it requires resources, both human. You can't hire a good human resource if you don't pay well. If the return of your investment does not allow you to hire a competent person that will manage, that will do the work for you, what about the capital itself? That you need to invest in an environment where virtually this SMEs, they are on their own. They will end up providing their electricity at a very high cost. You understand? Even a conducive environment where they will go and do a disbursement, to even have a security is an issue. So these are the issues that the cost is higher than what they are doing. So if you want them to do that, banks and other financial institutions and governments have to come and begin to think that why do other countries, including those ones that are competing, their interest rate is not more than 4%, while we are charging 27%. And how are they able to control the so-called inflation that we are talking about, at the same time lowering their interest rate? And that is why anytime you find out an average Nigerian entrepreneur cannot compete with a foreign entrepreneur in his own country, because that foreigner has an alternative source of cheap funding from elsewhere. He can go and borrow money. As bad as the economy, let me give you an example with Lebanon. As bad as the economy is, still, lending rate is cheaper in Lebanon than in Nigeria. So at the time when you go and give a cheap loan, and you come here, you come in a deregulated economy. If you have $1 million, you change it to naira, it will give you about 1.5 billion naira. And your contemporary here will be struggling here to access a loan of 100 million naira from Access Bank. They will be asking him, while he is classified as an SME, you understand, you will be asking for a collateral of 150 million naira from him. Even from institutions like Nexam, you understand that are being funded by government. People cannot access financing. So to me, this issue of how does somebody with a limited resources, expect him to compete at the international market? You understand? A question coming from a financial institutions that, in my own opinion, is part of the problems that we have, that banks are not willing to lend money in the productive sectors. They rather lend their money in the speculative sector. It's part of the problem. Unless we begin to see where between central bank and the bankers committee, all of you will begin to see how you are going to, quote unquote, invest in this sector to support this sector in a real way. we will not see a change. No matter what we tell them to do here, they will leave it on paper. They will leave it on the screen as we leave it now, because they are not empowered to do what we want them to do. How much does it cost for you to get a certification? For an SME in Nigeria today, what does it take? If you go to our contemporaries, you will see a factory exporting is not bigger than the office you are living in or bigger than the office I'm living in. But he has gotten all the necessary support, the financial support that he wants from his government and other financial institutions. So for me, issue of financing is a key issue. I feel there is a lot that all of us can do, especially from the financial sector. There has to be a holistic approach. Up to today, no one has ever told me in a layman's term that if I collect a loan with over 30% interest rate and my profit margin is not up to 30%, no one has given me a convincing reason that I will still survive and my business will prosper. But maybe Access Bank has a solution to that. And I'm waiting to hear that. In a layman's term, I keep on asking the central bank officials, the Nexims, the commercial banks, how do I do business if I collect your money and you are expecting me to give you more than 30% and my profit margin is not up to that? How do you expect me to survive? Assuming all things being equal, how do you expect me to survive? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aminu, and you've raised a genuine concern. However, there are options of grants, and that's the part where Access Bank is very key in investing by providing grant opportunities for them. Now, we have one that is currently running that is called the Womenpreneur Pitch-a-thon program, where women are able to pitch their businesses for a grand prize of 5 million naira at least. That will go a long way in helping their businesses. And this is a grant, it's not supposed to be returned. So for people who are not able to access loans yet, they're able to, source for grants outside there. Thank you so much, Mr. Aminu, for that.
Yes, let me say something. And this is one area also that we also have to be honest about it. When you say someone can access up to a 5 million naira, you understand. In today's contemporary world, it's not enough for him to do export with that money. You understand? I told you more than 90% of world trade generally is containerized. So when you say you want an entrepreneur, a woman entrepreneur to go into export, the minimum probably to do a 20-foot container. How much do you think it will cost them to prepare a 20-foot container? So that 5 million naira, what is it going to do to somebody who intends to export? Do you know the freight cost of one container from here, let's say to Dubai, to Jebel Ali, or to US, to Canada? So let us be realistic. Unless, of course, you are giving somebody 5 million naira to go and do a roadside business, or to do a local production here to sell, then fine. 5 million will do something. But for somebody that you are preparing to go into a business, 5 million naira will not do anything to him. And that is where the problem is. That is where the problem is. Let us go back and look at the classification of our SMEs. Who do you classify? Today, if you want to do a one container load of ginger, you need over 250 million naira to do that. So we're talking about competitiveness. We're talking about competitiveness for a company, for an SME to attend an international trade fair to meet potential customers, will spend that 5 million naira. How much is a return ticket from here to, let's say, France, if he's attending SEAL, or to Germany if he's attending Anuga, or even to Dubai? How much does he need to prepare himself, prepare his company, you understand, to go and compete in the world? So it's much, much more than that. Let us be realistic. Let us understand where we are going. How much does he need even to do it's much, much more than that. When we are talking about financing options, we are talking about real financing options, not stipends for somebody that will go on the roadside and no. If you are talking about, for me, you are talking about that you should be talking about MSMEs, micros. These are the ones that you should be giving them 5 million naira into this contemporary to expand their businesses. And even that 5 million naira should be interest free. You know? But then let us be realistic. We cannot afford to be sitting down here telling people what is not obtainable, or what in the end they will discover that it is a moving target, or giving them that impression with 5 million naira they can go into export business. It is not true. That's not possible. So when we're talking about financing resources here, we're talking about real financing. Even if you're going to do that, how much will it cost for an entrepreneur to have a packaging machine that will give them a good packaging machine? Do you think 5 million naira will give them a machine that is not produced in the country? It has to be imported of whatever capacity. 5 million naira. Convert that into a dollar, a denomination, and see. I'm not sure if it is up to $3,000 also, or $3,500. So these are the issues. It's not that kind of funding we are talking about, madam. It's about real funding for people to go into real productive sort of real businesses, so that they can generate employment, help the economy, and also increase the inflow of the forex that we are talking about. There has to be a capacity. They may have the skills, but building their capacity is beyond telling them what to do. Capacity building also includes financial capacity. They will be able to deliver to meet the international requirements. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amino. I think our time is very, very, very much gone, and we may not be able to take any other questions again. And so to close up the session, I'd like to welcome the group head of the agribusiness segment at Access Bank. Please welcome with me Olubenga Adelano.
Sorry, before you go, I just wanted to clarify, put some light to the 5 million. I'm sure you were not fully referring to that 5 million as an amount that can fully finance export, but you were trying to say, oh, these are some of the ways we assist SMEs, MSMEs, and that 5 million is actually a grant. It is not a loan. And that's why we have the people from our Greek decks. I know when it comes to loan, the conversation has to be sort of totally different. It won't be on a webinar platform. I totally agree with the speaker when he says, well, when it comes to financing exports, it's a more serious and in-depth conversation, and it won't be on the platform of a webinar. And that's why we brought the Agric decks to give an overview of what is available to women who want to go into export and women who are into agric. All those loans are available, but then you would have to come to the office. We may have to come to your office and have in-depth conversations around that. But the 5 million Ife was referring to, it a training we give to MSMEs, and then after that is a grant, is actually not a loan. That's the clarification I wanted to add, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Ife, you can go on, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nene. Olubenga, please go ahead.
Okay, let me first of all start by appreciating everyone on this call, our customers and our prospective customers that are attending this webinar. Thank you so much for giving us your time. And I want to most especially thank our facilitators, Alaji Bakin Kasua, and Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you very, very much. Your presentations and the training materials are very robust. You have addressed a lot of things, and this training, if the participants here take it as it is, I'm sure that we'll all go a long way to have easy access to finance and easy access to market, because they answer some of the questions that are like blockers to access to finance, as well as also answering some of the questions that borders on what could block the access to the market that they are targeting, which is the export market. So it couldn't have been done better by anyone, and I'm sure of that because I also have been in export finance for about 15 years, so I can speak to that. So thank you very much, everyone. We're very grateful. And just to let you know that aside from the products that my colleague Fumbi has presented for Access Bank in the area of agricultural finance, we speak to every segment of the value chain, from primary production to aggregation finance, to financing the processors, and also to financing the exporters. So we are with you all the way as exporters, and especially women exporters. History has shown that women are better behaved when they as borrowers than men, and we are always happy to support women businesses, especially in the agribusiness sector. So those products are there for you to access. And if you, like my colleague said, Nene said, if you have any concerns or any further clarifications, we will also be happy to hold you by the hand and also address your concerns as much as possible. Once again, thank you all for attending this webinar. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Olubenga Adelano. That is the group head of the agribusiness segment at Access Bank. And I'm sure that we've all heard what he said. We are available for you. So you can kindly reach out to us whenever you want to do that. A big thank you to our speakers for sharing their expertise, and to everyone who joined us today for this amazing session. Your commitment to growth is commendable. And so we encourage you to take today's insights, refine your strategies, and begin positioning your agribusinesses beyond borders. Remember to follow us across our social media platforms at the W Community, Instagram, Facebook, and X, and also click the subscribe button so that you can get first-hand information anytime we have sessions such as this prepared for you. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and stay building. My name is Ifeoluwa Omoto. Have a great day, everyone.